Hi, my name is Aaron Petty, and I am serving as the elections chair for the Urban League of Greater Atlanta Young Professionals chapter. I'm facilitating the 2019 election online candidate forum. Today we have Mike. Mike?
Hey, Aaron. Thanks. So as you guys know, I am running for president of ULGA-YP. As you guys know, I've been a part of the ULGA-YP board for the last 2 terms, 4 years as treasurer. I believe what I've done so far kind of speaks for itself, but I've put in a lot of hours working directly with our members and our board, 2 different boards, working on financial literacy, which, as you know, we implement the Level Up workshop. Done a lot of had a lot of strategic vision, well, not vision, but I guess you call it meetings with companies like Coca-Cola, establishing a pipeline for our members, new members to become members of the organization, as well as ensuring that we are financially stable throughout this entire 4-year period. So that's a little bit about me. I am definitely looking forward to serving if you guys vote for me as president of the organization.
Wonderful. Thank you for that, Mike. What's your vision for your role the role you're running for the next calendar year?
So my vision for the organization as president is to ensure that our members are well prepared as it comes to their personal and professional development. Like I mentioned before, one of the things that I'm really into is finances, right? So when you think about the Level Up workshop, that was to make sure that our members who attended were well equipped as far as receiving resources and talking to professionals who could help them make sure that they were making sound financial decisions as young professionals going into, when they are leading other organizations all the way up into retirement. That's the personal part. The professional part pertains to still same thing with the Level Up workshop, but making sure that, you take those resources, you take what you learn, and you help other people do the same thing, become financially stable and financially free, right? So that's that part. Then also I want to make sure that our members are getting a benefit out of being a member of our organization, which leads into more member-only led events, right? So, we had the Level Up workshop again. We had coding courses. We had the book club. I want to make sure that we get more member-only events so that they can feel like they're getting a lot of added value from being a member of our organization.
Wonderful. Thank you for that answer. What's your overall vision for the chapter for the next calendar year?
Overall, I want our membership to grow. I want to also make sure that we do that in a strategic manner, which, as I mentioned before, we started a strategic, I guess you call it membership pipeline with Coca-Cola. I want to use that and apply it to other companies, such as maybe UPS, or continue to do it with Southern Company, maybe even with Georgia Pacific, right? So as we continue to grow our members through that way, we're able to establish a long-term relationship with them, but then also that could turn into having our member events there, GBMs there, maybe even them sponsoring, dream catchers or something to that effect. But I want to make sure that, it's fun as well, right? So maybe looking at revamping some, let's say the orientation a little bit, maybe looking to add more in addition to PPD events, more social events that make, the organization look a lot fun for people to join as well. So, but the main thing is just making sure that our members are engaged, making sure that they are that they see that there's value being added to the organization as well as to themselves, and to make sure that we are setting ourselves up financially for the foreseeable future with companies that we believe that we have a strategic vision with.
Wonderful. Thank you for that answer. But that wraps up your online candidate forum. I want to thank you for your time and wish you luck on the election.
Thank you very much.
Hi, this is Anthony, and I am serving as the elections chair for this 2019 to 2020 Urban League of Greater Atlanta Young Professional Chapter Board election. Today I have Brittany. Brittany, can you introduce yourself and what role you're running for?
All right. Good evening, YPs. My name is Brittany Marshall, and I'm honored to be a candidate for Vice President for the Urban League of Greater Atlanta Young Professionals.
Wonderful. This is the time for you to say your speech.
Sure. So just to tell you a little bit about myself and what's led me to this movement. Currently, by day, I'm an evaluation specialist at the CDC Foundation, and I'm a contractor in the Division of Unintentional Injury Prevention, where I lead a program evaluation for a safe teen driving program. I'm originally from South Florida, and I have an undergraduate degree in health education and a master's and doctorate in public health. I first joined the National Urban League Young Professionals almost 11 years ago when I was fresh out of college. I became a member of the Central Florida chapter, and I was appointed as the 2008-2009 Events and Public Relations co-chair. In that role, I was responsible for planning our annual holiday party. I planned a family and friends weekend, which has since evolved into the Florida YP retreat. And also was responsible for planning the Fashion, Art, and Poetry Showcase, which was the largest chapter fundraiser at the time. After 2 years of service in that chapter, I transitioned to the Dallas YP chapter, where I served for 3 years. While I was in Dallas, I served as the 2013 Social and Cultural Vice Chair. And I also was on the planning committee for the 2014 Texas YP weekend, which brought together all 3 YP chapters from around Texas. In 2015, I relocated to Atlanta. I think even before I got here, I immediately paid my dues to ULGA-YP. I jumped right into the movement, served on the membership, social and cultural and communications committees, as well as the Dreamcatchers Planning Committee, before I was appointed to the ELT in January 2017 to fill a vacancy for the Personal and Professional Development Chair, and then subsequently was elected for a full term in that role for the 2017-2018 year. As PBD Chair, as many of you know, responsible for all the general body meetings, also launched some new initiatives such as YP University, our members-only town hall, did a spring speed networking mixer, and concurrently also was serving on 2 ULGA-YP national committees, the programs committee, as well as the learning, the leadership training and development committee. And also was on the ULGA-YP National Awards Committee, serving again this year for that, and am a graduate of the National Urban League Emerging Leaders Program. So that's a little bit about me and what I've done in the movement thus far.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. What's your vision for the role you're running for the next calendar year?
So my vision as Vice President is to continue to provide experience for our members to grow personally and professionally as individuals, as servant leaders, and as a collective force here in Atlanta. To accomplish this, I'll implement my YP Forever platform, which you can read in the document that the Elections Committee previously emailed out to the membership. And through this platform, I want to ensure that ULGA-YP is poised to support the mission of the National Urban League, the National Urban League Young Professionals, and our affiliate, the Urban League of Greater Atlanta, to the highest standard. So the main themes of my platform are operational excellence, board training, and member engagement. And so I really want to emphasize program evaluation and metric tracking, and make this a regular part of our approach to committee programming. Really want to start off the term by taking a critical look at our existing programs and initiatives and have some strategic conversations around their implementation moving forward. Also want to work with their committee chairs to evaluate each of their events through quick attendee surveys. I love a good survey as an evaluator, so that we actually have numbers and data to make decisions about the programs that our committees are implementing. Also want to map our strategic goals onto a ULGA-YP dashboard that will be updated and presented to the ELT monthly during my vice president's reports, so that all ELT members are aware of the current status of the chapter, where we are with our goals, and they can also articulate that to our members if they have questions. Also, one thing I'm really excited about is looking to move into really institutionalizing the committee deputy roles and formalizing that process. When I was PBD chair, I felt I did a really good job of having deputies for each of my events. But one thing I did differently was I had a main deputy for my committee. So that was Ashley Winston, who is now the current PBD chair. And pretty much everything I knew, she knew as well. So she could step in, answer any questions that may come from members on the committee, general body. Also, it gave her an opportunity to really see what it was like to be the PPD chair. And so now I think that is why PPD is definitely continuing to thrive under her leadership, because she was trained under me to be the PPD chair. So I want that to be the experience across all of the committees. So that's one of the key initiatives I want to implement this next term. Also, knowing that serving as a committee chair is often like a very thankless task, I want to incorporate specialized board trainings for our committee chairs, as well as our executive officers, focus on project management, facilitation and public speaking, fundraising, and coalition building, so that committee chairs and ELT members are equipped to manage volunteers, gain visibility outside of the chapter in the community, and really continue on their leadership trajectory beyond ULGA-YP. Lastly, one of the things that I think is really critical for our chapter to focus on is member retention. Often we put a lot of bells and whistles into Join Week, which is great. We always should be bringing new people into the movement. But I really think that we should foster the people that we currently have in the chapter and make sure that they stay involved and engaged. So as I think back as to why I remained a member for over 10 years now, a lot of that has to do with the encouragement and being voluntold by members of the board to step up and serve. Also just connecting with other YPs in different chapters across the country, being told thank you for my service in the movement, and really getting those constant reminders of why our mission and the work that we do is so critical, both here in our local community, but nationally, as we see how African Americans are still under attack. I think it's important to really find why people join this organization and find that pulse point to make sure that they stay members and can stay members for 5, 10, 15 plus years, transition to the guild, et cetera.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. So what's your overall vision for the chapter for the next fiscal year?
So my overall vision, to kind of tie it all together, really I want to change the narrative that ULGA-YP is kind of your initial gateway to young professional life in Atlanta. As I described, having been a member for so long, I still am in contact with people that I was on the board with in Orlando. Still am in contact with people that I worked on committees with in Dallas, and those people are still actively involved in their chapters. I've been in ULGA-YP for close to 4 years now, and I can't really think of that many people who are still actively engaged and involved in the chapter from when I started. And I think a lot of times people, move to Atlanta, they Google YP, they join, they get exposed to different organizations, and then they go their separate ways. But I really want to push our mission to the forefront in the community. I don't want people to see YP as, oh, you know, just the Urban League, they're doing this, it's not really making a difference, so why should I continue to pay my dues? So I really want to change that narrative and that brand awareness of the Urban League here in Atlanta.
Wonderful. Thank you for that as well. Thank you for your time, and good luck with this election.
All right, thank you.
Hi, my name is Aaron Petty, and I serve as the elections chair for the Urban League of Greater Atlanta Young Professionals chapter. I am facilitating this election's life cycle, and today I have Sandy. Sandy?
Yes, hi. My name is Sandy-Asari Hogan, and I want to serve as your next Urban League of Greater Atlanta Young Professionals treasurer. I'm a Houston native of Houston, Texas, but I was born here in Atlanta. And I really see this role as treasurer as an opportunity not only to reconnect with my birth home, but also gives me the opportunity to serve the greater Atlanta area. I have a bachelor's degree in forensic science from Baylor University, and I have a master's and doctorate in public health from the University of North Texas Health Science Center School of Public Health. I currently work as an evaluation fellow at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and the National Center for Injury Prevention and Control. Prior to that role, I served as the Maternal and Child Health Director for the Dallas and Fort Worth March of Dimes. My platform really for this role is really simple, and it's really surrounded and centered on facilitating and empowering the forward progress of our YP philanthropic servant leaders, particularly in service to our empowerment goals of education, jobs, housing, and in health.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. What's your vision for the role for the next calendar year?
So as outlined in my bio, my main vision really for this particular role is really centered again around this idea of the forward development of our philanthropic servant leaders. So in this role, I really would like to build again on the foundation of fiscal responsibility and transparency, and just making sure that the money for the organization is working not only for the organization, but also for those that we are serving. Really focused on creating an environment that engenders openness to opportunity. We live in a city where there's just so much, it's just busting at the seams with opportunity. And I feel like our organization has an opportunity to tap even more into that space. I know we have done that in the past, but really trying to maximize that effort in this area. Also building capacity for responsible and reliable philanthropy. For a lot of our organizations, particularly organizations that service minority populations, it's really important that we, as members of the organization, give to the organization so that we can then give to our community. Also around engendering a community that is really wealth generating. One of the empowerment goals is really focused on jobs and things surrounding housing. All of those things are impacted by wealth, right? So it's really important that we are an organization that not only is wealth generating, but also gives an opportunity to help others build wealth and break that cycle of poverty. And the last two things, really just remaining accountable to our organization and to the communities that we serve, and really keeping a record of our fiscal impact. I think one way for us to encourage giving for our organization is for us to really keep a record of how our money is working for the organization and what impact we're bringing within the community.
Fantastic. Thank you for that answer. What's your vision for the overall chapter for the next calendar year?
For the overall chapter, I really think it's just trying to get folks really centered around this idea of giving and giving to the organizations that are giving to them. Our organization really does provide a lot around professional development for young professionals, a lot of different types of events, also networking opportunities and helping young professionals build those connections within this Atlanta community. But it's hard for us to do that if we're not giving and having a consistent fiscal pool of money that we can tap into, not only to provide scholarships, but also to put on some of this programming. So for this particular role, for the chapter over the next year, I really want to build that base of philanthropic leaders. I want us to be proud of the organization that we serve and be proud to give to that organization and also bring a few others along with us as well.
Wonderful. Thank you for that answer as well. I also want to thank you for taking the time to jump on this online candidate forum and wish you luck in the next election.
Thank you very much.
All right. So again, my name is Aaron Petty. I serve as the Policies and Procedures Chair, and I also serve as the Elections Lead. We have Jazmyn Frye. Did I say that correctly?
Yes, that's right.
Wonderful. So yes, we're just going to give you the opportunity to state who you are, what role you're running for, and your vision.
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jazmyn Frye, and I am very excited to have the opportunity to serve as secretary. I joined YP a little under a year ago and found myself taking a very passive role as just a general body member, primarily attending general body meetings alone, yet hoping to make a change. As a transplant from Columbus, Ohio to Atlanta in a very unfamiliar setting, I'm intimidated to do more. It has been my long-term goal through both my legal career and service through YP to serve as a role model and give active voice to a minority, both unrepresented and sometimes exploited. After reminding myself I joined to make an impact on the community, I decided it was time that I take a leadership role. As a Phi Beta Kappa graduate of Fisk University and recent graduate of Capital University Law School, I am qualified for the secretarial position through my legal and law clerk experience of interviewing clients, conducting legal research and writing memos, answering incoming calls, taking minute meetings, and filing legal documents. For the next 2 years, I would ensure I provide effective communication, IP opportunities of employment, job training, housing, healthcare, and education for our communities. I hope to implement member recognition each month, provide meeting minutes immediately following general body meetings, and continue the efforts of formal secretary, Ms. Brittany Lambert, in creating a bank of venues, sponsors, and speakers for each general body meeting.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. So I'm going to just ask you 2 questions. What do you want to bring to the role, and what do you envision the secretary role being for this next calendar year?
So I definitely want to provide effective communication for the YP organization. I think that a lot of the events should be promoted a little bit more within Slack, and I hope to provide daily reminders for upcoming events. I also, as I said before, would like to provide immediate minute meetings following general body meetings for those that are unable to attend those meetings. And I would also like to promote member recognition for members within the organization to boost morale for the organization each month.
Fantastic. What's your vision for the overall chapter for this next calendar year?
I think just continue with service. That's especially why I joined the organization, is to provide service for minorities who don't often get those opportunities or don't know how to find those opportunities, about job opportunities, housing, healthcare, and education. So just promoting and providing effective communication about those opportunities, not just to the members of our organization, but to outside members as well. So whether that be promoting on social media outlets, I would be willing to do that as well.
Fantastic. Those are the only questions that we have from the Elections Committee. Thank you for participating in this online forum, and I wish you luck in this election.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Aaron Petty, and I am the Elections Chair for the Urban League of Greater Atlanta Young Professionals Chapter. I am facilitating the 2019 election cycle, and today we have Tracie.
Hi, I'm Tracie Kabler, and I'm running for Communications Chair. So I'm on the Social and Cultural Committee, and the community service committee, and I'm a book club deputy, but I'm really passionate about communications. I'm an architect by trade, but communications is pretty much what I do every day, coordinating, facilitating, marketing, and I'd like to bring that and try to contribute that to YP.
Wonderful. So what's your vision for the role for the next calendar year?
So one of the things I've noticed at our events is that sometimes it seems like there's a lot of YP members, but not necessarily as many outside non-members, depending on the event. So one of the things I would really like to focus on, if elected, is showing a trackable increase in the amount of non-members we have attending our events. I think that's really important because the more people that come out who aren't already familiar with us, the bigger impacts we can have, the more our name and our brand spreads by word of mouth. And I just think that's important.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. What's your vision for the overall chapter for the next calendar year?
Overall, over the calendar year, I think that along with, a trackable increase in non-members at events, but then also just how are we as YP, as an organization, communicating our stories? How are we communicating them to the public, to future corporate sponsors? I'm really passionate about Urban League. I've been a benefactor of a couple of the programs that the organization has, and so sometimes I get really pained when I go out and I tell people, yes, I'm part of YP Urban League, and people either, still kind of know what we do, but not really, or they've never heard of YP, or, they're kind of familiar with Urban League, but not so much. So just really kind of exploring how we're communicating that story, just because, we are kind of getting more notice. And I just think that's important. Sorry.
Oh, no, thank you. Thank you for that answer. I also want to thank you for taking the time to get on this call, and I wish you good luck for this election.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Aaron Petty, and I serve as the elections chair for the Urban League of Greater Atlanta Young Professionals. I am talking to Raphaella for the 2019 election cycle.
Hi everyone, my name is Raphaella Noruhan-Chaneyalew, and I'm currently pursuing the communications chair position. To share a little bit about myself, I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I work as a commercial construction project engineer, and I'm a graduating senior from Kennesaw State University, studying industrial engineering, technology, and pre-law. I have a great amount of leadership experience from my years as an undergrad. I've been in leadership roles within the National Society of Black Engineers, Phi Alpha Delta, Law Fraternity International, Phi Sigma Pi National Honor Fraternity, as well as the University of Dayton Student Government Association, amongst other organizations.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. So what is your vision for the role for the next calendar year?
My vision for the role is to use a 5-star strategic approach to increase our level of engagement, connect with members and prospective members, interact with those on social media platforms, redefine the way we use our social media platforms, and ensure that everything's being managed in a very effective way. The way I intend to do so is I intend to create a committee, because I believe that no one can effectively do anything on their own. When in leadership, a great quality to have is the ability to delegate. So I believe once I'm able to, if I'm able to step into this role, I would like to delegate each social media platform to a specific individual, or responsibilities pertaining to these platforms to individuals who have interest in learning about social media or who may have a background in social media. We currently have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Slack, and LinkedIn. So that's a minimum of 5 opportunities to increase leadership opportunities within our chapter. And I've noticed on our social media platforms that we don't do an effective way of showing people who we are. There are a lot of flyers and advertisements, but when I go onto social media platforms, I want to be able to see who Urban League of Greater Atlanta Young Professionals really is. Who are the individuals that make up the chapter and what it is that they're doing. I also have been working with Mike in the role of creating the social media blasts and posts. So I've taken the time to sit down and learn a little bit about the position and the applications that are used to create bulk posts at specific times on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I believe that whenever there's a call to action, I always like to answer that call. So in this case, I did so. And just a few weeks after doing so, I found out I was nominated for this role. So I hope I have your support.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. What's your vision for the overall chapter for the next calendar year?
My vision for the overall chapter is to increase our membership. I believe with a larger a larger number of members, we're able to have a greater effect on the greater Atlanta area. And I believe that I would like to have every member feel as if they're being acknowledged for what it is that they're doing. In the past, we used to do member highlights, and I would like to see that continue because when you're not able to give somebody something tangible for the work they're doing, recognition is just as important. And I would like to increase engagement. I don't want the only packed events to be the town hall or events at the beginning or the end of the seasons. I would like for members and prospective members to see the value of joining and participating within the Urban League of Greater Atlanta.
Fantastic. Thank you for that answer. We also want to thank you for getting on this, and I wish you luck in the election.
Thank you, Aaron.
Hi, my name is Aaron Petty, and I am serving as the elections lead for the 2019 and to 2020 Urban League of Greater Atlanta Young Professionals Board. Deborah, can you introduce yourself and talk about what role you're running for?
Hi, my name is Deborah, Acio, and I'm running for the Community Service Chair. I've been a member for nearly 3 years. I work at Cricket Wireless as a manager of sales compensation. During my time as a member, I've been in various committees. I've been on the social, PPD, as well as community service. And so last year I felt the need to really step up and move on into that leadership role. So I was really happy that I advanced to that and, made a lot of great progress in the initiatives that we had this following year. And so this year I'm also looking to enhance those.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. What's your vision for the role for this next calendar year?
So for this next calendar year, I'm really interested in making sure that we increase exposure to new communities. I want to make sure that we are transforming service into a new lens. So really getting outside of that traditional scope of how a lot of people view what community service is. There's various ways that one can serve their community. And so we've kind of done that with some of our initiatives this past year. For example, the Clark Atlanta University partnership that we've created. In that role, we've been able to really work with the collegiate students, one area that we haven't been able to utilize as much as often because we have worked with elementary school, high school students, and now we're capturing those college students. So we really want to round out the individuals there. So we want to make sure we're doing programming and events that target different avenues as well as different audiences, and really making sure to increase the partnerships that we have and looking to engage with new ones in the community outside of our traditional ones. So I really want to make sure that we increase our impact and our legacy, as well as letting people know who we are, because we're kind of in a small bubble and we want to make sure we break through that. also working with employee resource groups. So that's another avenue that I want to focus on this year, is really utilizing the committee as well as the general body to enhance our mission. So I'm really excited about this year and what we have to offer.
Wonderful. Thank you for that answer. What's your vision for the overall chapter for this next calendar year?
So for this next calendar year, I really want us to focus on member engagement and empowerment. I want members to feel that they can be leaders in our organization, that understand that they have a voice and it matters. Every little thing that they do enables us to progress as much as we have. So I really want people to understand the importance of that. Continuing to have open communication and a feedback loop, so members don't feel like there's a distance, a gap between leadership and the membership body. So really want to close those and bring us together, because we are one unit, we are one YP family, and so I want to make sure that everyone feels that way and continue to utilize their voice, because there's a lot of great ideas that we probably haven't even fully tapped into, since some members may feel that they are not best equipped. But just really making sure to work with the membership to increase that engagement, increase our exposure, and then really continue to enhance and advance our mission.
Great. Thank you for those answers. Yeah, thank you for joining this session, and I wish you luck in the election.
Thank you, Aaron.
Wonderful. All right. So, hi, my name is Aaron Petty, and I am serving as the elections chair for this 2019 election cycle. Today we're speaking with Meagan Benz. So Meagan, can you just do a brief introduction on who you are, what role you're running for, and anything else that you want talking about the position?
Sure. So my name is Meagan Benz. I currently serve as the Affiliate Services Liaison for the Urban League of Greater Atlanta Young Professionals. I am in the running for membership chair for the 2019-2020 fiscal year. I've been a member of Urban League for 6 years. It'll be 6 years in November. I joined the New York Urban League chapter, Young Professionals, and then in 2013, and then I moved back home to Atlanta in 2015, and then I joined the RYP chapter in February of 2016. So I've been a part of the movement for quite some time. I earned the title of Distinguished YP member, and that's really just you having a certain amount of hours, donating a certain amount of funds, and attending at least 2 conferences. So I'm really committed to the movement, and just really looking to do my part and to make our chapter better than what it is.
Gotcha. Wonderful. So what's your vision for the membership chair role for the next fiscal year?
Well, this year I want to focus more on recruiting members from different industries. So we're big in STEM and STEAM, but I really kind of want to go outside of that, maybe nursing, construction, automotive, just some really untapped industries that we haven't quite seen in our membership demographic. And I also want to focus on creating more of a culture around knowledge about the Urban League of Greater Atlanta, and then our National Urban League. Our history and our legacy is so rich, but very few members know about it. So as membership chair, that would be one of my goals, just to bring more knowledge about the movement, so people can see themselves in the movement and kind of make it their own and do what they can to support and advance the movement.
Wonderful, wonderful. What's your vision for the overall chapter for the next calendar year?
To remain the largest YP chapter in the country, to make our membership experience really personal and create a very progressive experience, just to remain a top premier young professional organization in Atlanta.
Wonderful. Well, that's all. Thank you for taking the time to jump on this conference call. And I appreciate all the work that you've done in the past, and good luck on the election.
Thank you, Aaron.